I want to talk about something that I also been thinking about, right? And this is, well, really, I was looking at this from a human perspective, even though that's a bit difficult, maybe to explain what actually that means. But basically, what I was thinking about was traditional jobs, right? Like all the jobs that we have, basically. In fact, the entire concept of having a job in the first place. So I was comparing pre-colonial Africa, right? And then post-colonial Africa. But before I get to that, let me just mention that. So someone on Instagram yesterday, or was it today? They shared. I think yes, it was today. They shared a small video, a little video clip of uh, Joe Rogan, right? And he was talking about how the thing is with humanity, we can't just like there has to be progress every time, because if there was love and peace and prosperity everywhere, then we would somehow remain stagnant and there won't be any kind of progress, right? And so basically there is a need for like innovations, and just recreating and recreating all the time. But now coming back to the point of pre-colonial Africa, and according to my humble understanding of what I think was happening, and based on the little information that I've, well, not little, but like just the information that I've read, right, and got to understand about pre-colonial Africa, it's basically that there wasn't anything that pre-colonial Africans were looking forward to progressing towards. They were just living life as it was, right? Because of already there, it's like they're already seeing life as a gift, right? And because of that, I think that's why many Africans are rich when it comes to the arts, right? I mean, there'd be many ceremonies, people dancing around fires, and of course, it's not only that, right? I understand that there were civilizations like Egypt, the empire, the Mali Empire of uh, of Mansa Musa, right? But my point is that we weren't always looking for the next thing. Should we do next? Let's build this next. Okay, this one is outdated. Let's try this one. It was just about, okay, celebrating that we're here, because I mean, from here, where else do we come from, right? Only God knows. So so now coming back to Joe Rogan's question, right? That like no, there has to be some sort of progress, because otherwise we would be stagnant, and then there won't be any kind of people won't there won't be any kind, like I don't understand it, because at the end of the day, what we only need is food, shelter, and of course a sense of belonging or community or love, whatever you can call it, right? And out of all those 3 points, I don't. Oh, and this is me speaking, by the way, my opinion, right, or my thoughts. And out of those 3 points, I don't see the necessity for progress or recreation in any form of those, right? It's I would actually even say that maybe the progress and the recreation part only comes in after a certain event happened, or maybe maybe being exposed to a certain situation, right, that leads to maybe a certain consequence which forces progress. Like, let's say, for example, then while during pre-colonial Africa, people were just sitting and taking days as they come, one by one, living present, and not necessarily looking forward to creating something new and stuff like that. Um, until maybe, let's say, for example, there's a huge storm that happens, which causes a huge flood, which causes maybe a number of deaths, right? Then maybe after the flood goes away, everything gets back to normal. Then there's a requirement for progress. Only then is there a requirement for progress. And of course, maybe it's about, let's say, maybe this time let's build a much higher house, or let's build a house that doesn't touch the ground immediately, because to prevent water from coming inside, right? Or let's move to a much higher place so that we don't get affected by flood. So you see, that way it makes much more sense, because especially that way you're in fact you are going with the flow of nature, going with the flow of nature. And this has been said many times that um, post-colonial Africa is most of the time always against nature, and of course it actually causes more damage than it causes maybe problem solving, right, or than it causes progress. And I genuinely agree with that, because Now, the reason I'm saying this is because um, I'm just looking at the fact that naturally, based on my understanding and research of African history, is that African people are very artistic, right? So much so that it's like second nature. Now, this brings me back to my I wouldn't call him a mentor, but he was my friend. I think this was in my second year of university, and he started I was part of his entrepreneurship society, right? And I would normally go around places with him. And I remember at the time he started this community slash online platform, right, where people can actually showcase their talents. It wasn't necessarily made for African people, but people could showcase their talents. And then, even though that one actually functioned more as an agency, if I remember correctly, so you would showcase your talents, and then of course, whoever was looking for a certain particular talent, they would then go onto that platform and seek for you. And then, of course, if they find you, then business gets done from that point onwards. But basically, you can. I thought about it, and then I said, okay, so basically, this just means that this is where we are good at, or something that this is where things come to us very naturally, right? Our talents, and really that's what it should be. But of course, since now since we're in the post-colonial Africa, and of course with the introduction of capitalism and economies, everything should be done for profit. So now, going back to the question of progress and recreation, it's like, for some people, it's just for the sake, it's actually just being done to be better than the other. And by the other, I'm referring to a company, right? So this one company has this product, and the other company says, hey, let's make this product better and improve it and innovate it, so that they can be so that we can be much more better, and of course get more money and win over our competition. And I think only then do they use the answer of, no, this is progress. you know that's just my opinion, really, because honestly, also me too, I don't see the need for constant updates and recreation and progresses. Not because maybe I can't keep up, no, because some of it somehow, it's unnecessary to a point that it's like solving a problem. And I think I've mentioned this in one of the previous episodes, like when you're trying to solve one problem, and then it just creates more problems, right? I think the person who said it best was Professor Jordan Peterson, where he said it's like this giant snake, right, with two heads. This giant snake with two heads, and when you try to chop off one head, four more heads grow. It's like there's just more problems. But if you just leave that snake to be as it is, it won't actually do much damage, right? It's already there. There's no need for you to now try and kill it. So yeah, that's just a quick thought I had regarding progress, and in fact, and like comparing pre-colonial Africa, and how things flowed naturally with nature, and that there wasn't a need to actually fast forward things and bring unnecessary progress or unnecessary recreations every time, right? Unless a situation forces one to. So yeah, maybe if that concept could be used, definitely I think the world will actually be less evil. Definitely less evil, and of course less social problems would exist.